I'm trying out a new character. His name is Peekaboo McAllister. He's supposed to be like a kid. So I know it might be a little rough because I've never done a character before or Peekaboo McAllister before. I don't really know this person or how to convey what makes them Peekaboo McAllister to the world externally. So I don't know that this will work, and if it does, I don't know why, but I really feel compelled to do. Well, I was like, I could do that. I don't know. I don't know if I feel compelled to do this, but I'm doing it. So I can tell my therapist I tried. Okay, so here's Peekaboo McAllister. He's a kid. So he's like sitting at his house, and he's kind of bummed because he just got kicked out of the boarding school that he lived at. He was there for half a semester. He's in the 8th grade. He got skipped ahead 3 grades, so he's a little younger. He's kind of out of his element. And then at boarding school on top of it, it was too much for him. He was kind of acting out. And he tried to run away 3 times, and the 3rd time they had a 3-strike policy. So he's bummed. He knew this was coming. He forced this to happen, but still he's little. He's in 8th grade, but he skipped ahead 3 grades. He presumably is smart enough to do the math to figure out how old that would make him. Because of being skipped ahead, that would probably be one of the areas that he showed an extreme proclivity in, or they would be like, this kid's fairly average across a number of dimensions. Let's skip him ahead quite a few grades. So he's a precocious boy, but these big feelings inside him, that's something that maybe he doesn't excel at handling. So he's got a lot going on. So he's sitting there, he's bummed out. He knew this was coming, but still dealing with the aftermath of this big decision. And remember, he's the one who forced the school to kick him out. He knew what he was doing, so he knew what to expect intellectually. But emotionally, he might not be ready for what is coming. And he's starting to realize that now. And he has to learn to live with it like we all do. He has to learn to live these big feelings that kind of come. So anyway, his name's Peekaboo McAllister, and he's a kid. He's at his house. And he's dealing with the emotional fallout from this getting kicked out of boarding school on purpose. It's sort of like making your girlfriend break up with you by just ignoring her. It's like she feels like she broke up with you, but you know what happened. And the same with the school. The school, in their logbooks, it says we kicked him out for attempted truancy, but he can't kick himself out any other way. You know what I'm saying? So he's just sitting there. He's sitting there in his house. I'm sorry. It's just a lot for a guy to go through. At any age, a regular 8th grader who wasn't skipped ahead 3 grades would be like. So anyway, and he's drinking a Sprite, and it's a diet Sprite because, or do they call it Sprite Light? I would have called it Sprite Light. I bet Peekaboo McAllister would have called it Sprite Light too, but again, that was a choice that wasn't his to make, unlike the boarding school thing. Anyway, so he's bummed out. It's been a tough time. His favorite show is about to come on, Tegmar Space Rangers. Season 5 wasn't as good as season 4, but season 6 is shaping up to make up for that. So episode 4 of season 6 is about to come on, and he's down, and he's ready to live blog it when there's a knock on the door. And his mom's upstairs in the hair curler. She says the hair curler, but lately things have been a little off with his mom. Not great. Not great at all. Things have been tough. And, he can't remember a time. There's school and there's home, right, for Peekaboo. And he can't remember a time where school wasn't going amazing. And everyone, he could feel the jealousy coming off to other people. And there's never been a time where home wasn't a problem of some kind. So Peekaboo, He's so happy when he walks out that door in the morning, and when he comes home at night, it's like you can feel it. It's like a wet blanket settling over him. And his mom, she's got curling in her hair, and she says that's what she's doing. She's been in there for 3 hours. And there's a weird smell coming from under the door, and every so often she keeps like making these weird sounds. And every time he asks if she's okay, she's like, "Shut up, shut up." That's what really gets to him. Anyway, she asks if he can get the door, because whatever she's doing, she's not coming out. She asks if my character, Peekaboo McAllister, she asks if I can get the door. Switch narrative modes here. I'm not good at doing characters. So, Peekaboo McAllister. It's like, yeah, I can get the door. He's not like that. God. So, I can get the door, Mom. Thanks, hey, that's really great. She didn't. His mom wouldn't say that. I'm sorry, guys. His mom doesn't. She's not that. In fact, old mom, 4 years ago, Mom, she would have said that at least some of the time. But this mom lately, no. She's like, yeah, you will, or something like that, if verbal. So no problem, Mom. She's like, rah. And I'm so like used to this treatment. I'm like, I don't even see how pathological the exchange we just had is. I'm like a 3 year skipped ahead 8th grade boy, whatever that age would be, pretty young, honestly. And she's a grown woman, and this is how, anyway. So who knows who it is? Maybe it's FedEx. Maybe it's a guy with a knife gun. Maybe it's just a walking bomb. My anxiety's through the roof. I just want to do my post-algebra, whatever a smart 8th grader would do. And watch Tegmar Space Warriors, because season 6, episode 4 probably is as good as I hope. I got the grunting mom, and then I open the door, and it's my dad. And he came home, and he just came home totally drunk. He didn't have keys, so that's why he knocked. He just came home, he was totally drunk. And I said, "Dad, I haven't seen you in 6 years. You came home?" And I just fell on my, I'm like, "Oh my God." He was like, shh, don't want your mom to hear. And Mom was like, "Who is it?" And I said, "It's the FedEx guy with a knife gun." And she's like, "What?" And I was like, "It's just nothing. FedEx guy, my friend from school." And she's like, "Ah." I don't have a friend from school, but she doesn't know that, because she's not there for me the way old Mom would have been. So it was a problem. But my dad, I was like, "Oh my God, you have to tell me everything. Where have you been?" And he's like, "Well, that milk I went to get, every gallon I got, it was just bad. It's just bad." After a while, I was like embarrassed to come home. I was like, I've been trying to find a not spoiled gallon of milk for over 1,400 years. And now I'm back. And I was like, well, no wonder, because there's been the great milk famine of the last, 6 years. No milk has been unspoiled. I think alien lasers from space. And he's like, "You don't sound much like a 8th grader skipped ahead 3 years." I think I was really rude of him to say that. I said, "I'm already very nervous being in school with such older people. And how did you know that? You've been gone for 6 years." 6 years ago, I wouldn't have been in school, right? Quite likely, depending on the math. This is a character who's good at math. I should have done more research. Sorry. And then that's when I noticed, kind of in the shadows, was this woman I'd never seen before. And I was like, "Dad, who's this?" And he's like, "This is Sheila." And I said, "Sheila?" And he's like, "Don't worry, she's actually quite nice. She's good to me." And that's why we're here, Peekaboo. We're here because your mother isn't the person who she used to be. And I was like, I didn't feel that much emotional affinity for this person, despite him being my father. He did leave us for over 6 years, and that's when I realized that doesn't line up with the start of the milk famine. The laser bombardment from space didn't start till 3 months after he left. It would be quite an unlikely coincidence for every gallon of milk to be bad prior to the intergalactic incident. But I was willing to let bygones be bygones and hear him out, because he was right. Mother hadn't been herself for quite some time. Certainly longer than the galactic milk famine had been going on. Even my young brain could see that. And he said, Sheila and I have come because it's time, now that I've built a life where we can all be happy in a safe place, we can take you away from your mom. And I heard this blood-curdling scream from the bathroom upstairs where Mom was doing her curling irons and whatever else. And I said, Dad, maybe you can tell me this. I'm so smart. I've been skipped ahead at school. I've done several book reports. I've read every Beverly Cleary book. But there's one thing I don't understand. What is it that Mom does up there when she says she's curling her hair? Her hair is as straight as driven snow. And he said, son, that metaphor was not the metaphor of an advanced, precocious young boy. I said, fine. Her hair is as straight as he's like, if you make any reference to like some kind of poor gay joke, I was like, poor gay joke? Are you saying gay people are poor? And we got in this huge fight. And then we heard Mom make this other sound. And I was like, just tell me what it is that she does. I was like, okay, you're right. She doesn't straighten her hair. And I said, what does she do? He said, she gains it.